On today's Watch with Mike, can you get a good mechanical watch for less than $150? I'll bet this Seiko will make you say yes. I bought this Seiko watch on Amazon for, like I said, less than $150. What do you say? Let's open it up together. This is Seiko's SNKP23. Suggested retail $275. Don't believe that. This watch is part of Seiko's Recraft series. This is supposed to evoke feelings of the 1970s. Hey, I can remember the 1970s, and if you can't remember the 1970s, well, I have to tell you, it was a very fun time. So I hope that this watch transports you there. And if you do remember the 70s, perhaps this watch will transport you back. Okay, enough monologuing. Let's take this thing off of the cushion. If I had a cat or a lizard, I would let them recline on this little Seiko pillow here. We're just going to put that aside. Well, my first impression is this feels really solid, and I really don't mind that. I've gotten quite used to larger watches. There's the tag. It's caliber 7s26. This is an automatic mechanical movement, hardlex crystal. That's Seiko's brand of mineral glass. Screw see-through case back. Screw see-through case back? Well, I don't want to put the emphasis where it shouldn't be, but the watch does indeed have a see-through case back. So let's tear away at some of this wrapping. And there we have it. Let's get a little wind in it and cue up the beauty shots so we can take a closer look at the design and see what you get for the money. The rounded rectangle case is nicely angular, but has no sharp corners. I like how the case incorporates the lugs, which is very 1970s. The case and bracelet strike a balance between brushed and mirrored surfaces, consistently alternating the brushed, mirrored theme with each dividing bevel of the body, and more subtly on the bracelet, with the inner links and the sides being mirrored, and the outer links and Seiko-branded clasp brushed. This watch has a screw-on display back, giving you a view of Seiko's Malaysia-made 7s26 movement. When fully wound, this 21-jewel watch has a power reserve of approximately 41 hours and is water-resistant to 5 bar or 50 feet. The dial features a multi-level face. The round recessed inner dial area has a deep blue metallic sunray center with a slight black outer burst that reminds me of a classic electric guitar. The raised outer part of the dial has a thin, round inner gray ring and an outer black field and two-tone painted minute markers extending to the outside edge. The bowed rectangular shape plus slightly rounded corners of the dial, crystal, and case is reminiscent of classic CRT television screens, which is an indelible image for any child of the 70s. On the face is an applied silver matte finish Seiko logo and a raised date window frame with a mirrored asymmetrical 10-sided outer shape and an 8-sided symmetrical inner bevel that's matte finish to match the Seiko logo. The mirrored and beveled hour markers add a third height dimension to the dial. In addition to the polished, beveled edges, the markers are finely grooved along their faces, creating a refractive prism effect at certain angles. The hour markers overhang the center dial, pointing to painted white dots on the sunburst portion of the dial. Curiously, neither the dots or the white paint on the hands are luminous, which to me seems like a missed opportunity. The hour and minute hands are also beveled across their length by two facets of mirrored surface. The complexity of the watch face is further amplified by the optically clear beveled edges of the crystal, which bend the appearance of the underlying hour markers in an intriguing way and cast their own lighting pattern on the dial in sunlight. While it's a raised crystal, it does not extend dramatically above the watch case as on some other watches. In fact, viewed from the front, you'd think the crystal would be much taller above the case. I also like the multicolored day names and how the whimsically orange sweep second hand is in vibrant contrast to the deep blue dial. Despite all of these distinguishable details, the watch designers have miraculously blended the elements into a cohesive piece of work rather than being a jumble of disparate parts and design concepts. This watch might not be for everybody, but I don't think anyone will get bored looking at it. Here's what I think I'm going to do. First thing is I'm going to size the strap, and then I'm going to wear it for a little bit. That way I can give you my feedback on whether or not it's comfortable, and that will also let me put a wind in it so we can put it on the timegrapher and see what kind of time it keeps. Fantastic. All right, so far so good. I really like it. There we go. So this link gets recycled. So let's just practice by taking that one off first. And I just have this inexpensive little tool for poking out the pins. Now if you notice, there's little arrows here, and the arrow points in this direction, so it's saying to push the pin this way. Back off that little piston. It's lined up with the pin. See if we can see it in action. With any luck. Oh, look at that. Came right out. Nice. Now you can see it coming out. Let's put this one back on. A little squeeze, and how did we do? Perfect. We're going to repeat the process on this side. Out with that. A little squeeze. There it is. Moment of truth. How'd we do? Uh-oh. What have I done? I can't get my hand in it. I took out way more than I needed to. So, can you see that? I don't know what I was thinking. All right, I'll fix this in editing. It's on my wrist. And how are we doing? You know, it still feels a little too tight, so I think I'm going to add back one link to make it bigger and then tighten it slightly by using the micro adjuster on the clasp. We got it on. We got it sized. It feels perfect. I like my bracelets just a little bit on the loose side just so I can kind of move it around and shift it over my wrist bones, but it feels fantastic. I'm going to keep this microfiber handy. All the scratches on my other watches, they hide the fingerprints, but since this one is brand new, it is just gleaming, and I want to keep it that way. So here's the story. I'm going to wear this now because the only way to wind this watch is to move around with it because it's an automatic movement. It doesn't have a manual winder. I'm going to make sure it has a good wind. Then we will come back and I'm going to put it over there on the timegrapher, and we will answer the question on how well a $150 Seiko automatic mechanical watch keeps time. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back. I've been wearing the watch for a couple of days. It's been comfortable, not too heavy, and I've been getting lots of compliments. My wrist circumference is 6.5 inches, and I never felt like the watch was too large or too heavy for everyday use. For reference, the watch is 39.5 millimeters wide, 46 millimeters lug to lug, and it has a 22 millimeter lug width if you'd like to swap out the bracelet for a nice leather strap. The height of the watch is 12 millimeters, but the curve of the case makes it appear lower when it's on your wrist. Now, I will say that out of the box, the watch has been running a little bit fast, but we're going to put it on the timegrapher and see if we can tweak it just a little bit to get it within a better spec. Let's give that a try. The timegrapher consists of two parts: this microphone unit where you mount the watch, and a display which analyzes the beats and gives you an indication of how well the watch is running. The data that the timegrapher displays is the rate, which measures the accuracy in seconds gained or lost per day. The amplitude is how strong the watch is running. BE stands for beat error. This is the difference between the ticks and tocks that the balance wheel travels back and forth, and a lower number is better. We're going to do a reading with the watch facing in various directions. Right now, it's straight up and down. And I have to tell you, this is fantastic. It says it's almost exact. It's neither gaining nor losing any time per day. I'm going to change the position of the watch so we can get another reading. So now we've rotated the watch 90 degrees. Let's see how the performance is at this angle. The whole idea of measuring the watch at different angles is to simulate as you wear the watch. Of course, you're not keeping your hand like this or your arm like this throughout the entire day. So by moving the watch around in its holder, you can get an idea of how well it's running in the different positions. Once again, I'm completely impressed. It is only losing a small amount per day. So I would say in these two positions, the watch is running fantastic. Let's see how the watch is running in this horizontal position. I'm going to stop it right there. Well, as I suspected, in this position, the watch is gaining between 15 and 17 seconds per day. Take a look at this line. That line is straight as an arrow. At least it's being consistent, and the top dots and the bottom dots are extremely close together, which shows that this watch is actually running pretty strong. Well, after looking at it on the timegrapher, I have to tell you I'm pleasantly surprised by how the watch is running. So for the time being, I think I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to continue wearing the watch, and we'll see if the watch breaks in. If it continues gaining time or really bugging me, then maybe I will turn back to the timegrapher and open it up and see if we can do some adjustment. I don't know if it's needed, but if I do go in to adjust it, I will make sure that I record that here for the channel. Well, I really enjoyed reviewing this Seiko Recraft 70s-inspired watch, and I have to answer the question myself. Can you get a good mechanical watch for less than $150? I say yes, and I've just been having a great time wearing this watch, and I had a fantastic time reviewing it for you. Hey, if you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, and I would love to hear what you think in the comments below. My name is Mike, the channel is Watch with Mike, and I look forward to our next time together.